All right, it says we live. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Bear with us. Let me check the feed. All right, more and more people are noticing. All right, hey, shalom. GMS Charlotte back at you with another live lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakak Quadash. And before we get started, we want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakak Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us his truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. Want to get into this topic here. Priest actually put me on. And I seen videos, weeks ago, but just kind of honing in on this topic, which is trending all on the internet. All right. It's called the Great Noticing. And we titled this lesson Trending the Great Noticing, that he might be revealed in his time. All right. And now this is the time where the wicked is being totally revealed. All right. As we go into this topic often. All right. But we got a couple of things, to bring out that's going to pretty much put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. And then before we even get into everything, first and foremost, fair use. All right. Fair use, fair use, fair use. And Priest, you got it. You want to add in there, brother?
Kind, like you were saying, it's the spirit, that has been bringing these things out, as far as people are beginning to realize what is going on. I actually want to start with that quote that I was speaking about before we cut it on. So, brothers, pretty sure you've seen it. Esau is trying to do damage control, but we have that quote from, they say either from Voltaire or from George Orwell. But the quote goes, if you want to know who rules over you or who controls you, look at who you are not allowed to criticize. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, the spotlight has been put on Amalek, all right, for the last few years, showing that people are beginning to realize that these devils are behind the scenes orchestrating everything, all right? And we saw, Trump getting in the office this last time, all right, fully, backed by the tiny tops, cabinet full of tiny tops. Everything he's doing is for the benefit of the tiny tops. All right. As he's been coined the first U.S. president, So everybody is starting to, point the finger at, who is all this that is being done in the U.S. benefiting. All right. Like you said, the great noticing is that Amalek is behind the scenes orchestrating everything for his benefit. So it's no longer the United States of America. They're coining this place the United States of Israel, because these small hats pretty much are the ones in control. And anybody that speaks out against this, all right, you're labeled anti-Shem, and you're labeled a hate speech. But we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, this is being done because Esau can no longer hide himself, so he has no choice but to put the propaganda out there before he makes his move.
That's it, man. And we're going to show you how desperate and hurt these Edomites are, man. This is kind of what we're going to get into. This is why, if you're watching this, pay attention, man. See how slick and cunning, this man is. All right. Real quick, before we get it, again, fair use. All right. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, man. Fair use. Hey, I get Jeremiah 49 in Esau made bear. Jeremiah 49, it was a 2:10. Salakia.
Yeah, I got you. This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not.
Yeah, so again, the Most High has made Esau totally bare. All right, and this is part of him attempting to keep himself covered, to keep himself hidden. And this is what we want to get into. So check this out, right? So there's this thing, this topic, great noticing, trending online, right? And this is what it says, right? So it says the quote, great noticing, refers to a coded phrase used by some online extremists, right? Check that out. A coded phrase used by some online extremists to imply that they are recognizing or pointing out supposed Jayish influence or control in various contexts. It serves as a dog whistle for anti-you-know-what sentiments, allowing users to express their ideas without or overtly stating them. Right? We'll read this real quick because I want to go to this blue square alliance.org, right? You have something you was gonna say?
No, I was going with you.
All right. So it says here, overview of the Great Noticing. The Great Noticing is a term used in online extremist circles, right? Online extremist circles to refer to a coded expression of anti-you-know-what. It implies that individuals are becoming aware. All right. I saw a meme online. It says silly, what it say? Silly Goyim, facts are anti-you-know-what. So it says it implies that individuals are becoming aware of supposed Jayish influence or control over various aspects of society, right?
Yep.
Key features. Coded language. This phrase allows users to express anti-you-know-what beliefs without using overtly hateful language. This makes it harder for content moderation systems to detect and remove such comments. See? Because they got a whole algorithm set up, which we'll get into that, right?
Yep.
Variations. Common variations include impossible not to notice. Salakia, impossible not to notice. The noticing will continue. Hashtags like hashtag the noticing. All right, and this became popular around 2025, so on and so forth. So let's go to the website here, and priest, feel
Because
free
I
to.
can add real quick.
Yeah, there you go.
Because this really, began to be a thing when that whole, Gaza situation popped off. Because really, this is really trending mostly on TikTok. All right, which we know, TikTok was just acquired by the small hats, about a month ago, I believe. And people were beginning to realize that, that what's being done to those Palestinians over there, East Amalek, is still trying to play that victim card when the math ain't mathing, man. The amount of bodies that's piling up off of what they're doing over there, that genocide, all right, pretty much is putting everybody on notice that these tight top people are the problem, So what Esau is having to do to try to skirt around that is put these different BS things out here, such as what we have on the screen right now, these different lame ass commercials and different things like that to try to help the people still have them in favor, but they're waning in public opinion, man. That's pretty much going into the book of Obadiah, which we'll get in a little bit, where it talks about how these devils are going to be greatly despised.
That's right. That's right. Let me bear with me 1 second. And we'll go into this. We'll go into the read here. All right, give me 1 second. All right, my computer's moving a little slow. And we'll read it. Give me 1 second. I don't know why it's doing that.
Well, while you getting that, I'll go ahead and get that scripture. I'll quote it then.
Yeah, you got it, brother. I'm just trying to let it.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and I'm gonna start at verse 2. It says, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen; thou art greatly despised." And that's the Edomite nation as a whole. All right. The Lord is beginning to single you out, starting with you Amalekites, man. All right. It said that you will be greatly despised, and that is becoming fact in the earth. And these devils cannot take it. This is why they're doing all these different things to try to, move that spotlight off of them. All right. You had that lame ass ad about a year or two ago, the shine a light, the shine a light on Jayish hate. All right. We saw that Super Bowl commercial that just came out. With the Jayish dude, so-called getting bullied, and then you gonna have the fucking coon Jake come in and come to his defense. Even with that, you Jakes don't realize that was undertones in that shit to demean you.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the name that the dude called himself, he called himself Belial, and the brother Tazamak brought it out. That name Belial means worthless. So they was jabbing at you, Jakes,
Yep.
in that shit, showing you that Esau is always gonna, take shots at the true, the true children of Israel because they know who you are, man.
Yeah.
But they don't. They starting to see that people are beginning to hate them because you are not the chosen people that you claim you are, man.
That's it. And it's all coming out. It's all coming out, man. So this is from the Blue Square Alliance Against Hate. And we've been telling you for the past 10, 12 years now that they were going to use that campaign and the whole rhetoric of hate to, to push these laws and these decrees,
That's right.
But it says here, dog whistles, how hate spreads through coded language. All right. And I'll get to the point. I just want to read these 2 or 3 paragraphs real fast. It says, dog whistles are coded signals, phrases, numbers, or symbols. They carry a hidden meaning. To most people, they look harmless. Right? Let me make it bigger. Hold on. All right. So it says, to most people, they look harmless, but to those inside extremist circles, all right, those inside extremist circles, they are instantly recognizable. This coded language allows ideas to spread in public places without being stated outright, making it harder for platforms and casual readers to spot what's really being said. All right. Again, you see how hurt they are, man. All right. They're going to extreme lengths to make sure they find out who's saying what and who's doing what, when it comes to them.
To you, what you were saying shows you they watching because, like you pointed out, what did Apostle Tahar tell all of us, concerning these videos that we need to speak in code. So the fact that they're now targeting so-called codified messages, that should be known that they're trying to target all those who are aware of what they're doing.
Exactly. This is real fast. Psalm 37 and verse 32. It says, the wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him.
Mm-hmm.
So they're watching everything, man. You don't think they're watching the videos and hearing what's being said? All right, let's read on. It says the purpose of these dog whistles is to both disguise and connect. See? Both to disguise and connect. On one hand, they allow people to share hate while maintaining plausible deniability. On the other hand, they work as a kind of password, an easy way for people in the know to find each other and signal shared beliefs. So they know what's going on, right? Social media gives dog whistles fertile ground to flourish, right? Because this is why they want to try to, lock it down. All right. They want to control. That's why they've been buying it out. All right. It says on fast moving platforms.
If I can add, Lucky, because what they're doing is they're trying to categorize who to come after.
Right.
Because while you're reading that term dog whistle, I had looked it up, and that word dog whistle, according to Oxford Dictionary, it says used in reference to a subtly aimed political message that is intended for and can only be understood by a particular demographic group. And so what that's going into is people who have now, been made quote unquote aware of what Esau is doing. So as we see, the veil being lifted off the eyes of the people, now Esau is going after all those who are no longer what they will call, sheeple.
Right. Exactly. One quick precept. This is Psalms 34. I'm sorry, Psalms 37 and 14. It says the wicked have drawn out the sword. All right. And these little ad campaigns and websites they have set up, that's part of that. All right. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Right. So again, they got the algorithm set up. All right. They got the online monitoring. All right. They're looking for coded words and all of that. This is what this is all about. Okay. Let's go back. So reading on, it says social media gives dog whistles fertile ground to flourish. On fast-moving platforms such as X, Instagram, and TikTok, coded terms can circulate widely before moderators recognize them. In 2025, with anti-you-know-what content continue to rise online, Dog whistles have become a way for extremists to embed their messages in everyday conversation, often spreading further because they look inno- how you say the word innocuous at first glance,
Innocuous.
innocuous at first glance. All right, so let's get to the point, and we'll get to the scriptures. Right. So this is what I wanted right here. What we're dealing with now. Word-coded dog whistles. In some cases, hateful actors will use words and phrases to carry hidden meanings online. The phrases will often be oddly worded or placed. One increasingly common example is the noticing, quote unquote, a phrase extremists use to describe noticing jayish influence without saying it directly. On social media, it often appears as a standalone post, a phrase, or hashtag, quote, the noticing. Extremists will often play it off by saying they are just pointing out a pattern or calling it out, which has given rise to variations of the phrase like impossible not to notice or noticing will continue. While the noticing is the main and consistent manifestation of this dog whistle, its variants spike on social media at more concentrated times as depicted by the graph below. All right. And you have something, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, because like I said, this really started to become a thing, around the time when they started bombing Gaza. They started, doing what they was doing to those Palestinians, and that's when people began to start speaking out. Because at first, because it's not happening here on American soil, nobody really paid much attention to it. But
Right.
as those videos, began to get shared on social media, and they saw, the barbaric things that they were doing to those Palestinians over there, all right, people began to start speaking out against it. Like I believe you sent that on Instagram, like the last one we saw, where they was like showing like a movie theater and they was like partying or
Oh, it was a
having
concert,
and they was showing the bombing in the background.
Yep.
Different things like that. They were taking the kids to to a part where they could actually see the bomb being dropped and all that.
Yep.
That's not that's not no light thing that people look at as normal, man.
Right.
These devils are showing you their nature.
That's
All
it.
right.
Exactly. And that great noticing, as we're talking about, that's trending online on all of these major social media platforms. This is that crying out that's going out against the thief.
Exactly.
All right, that's going out against the murderer, right? And I want to make that point before we get into the next video, right? This is Habakkuk chapter 2. I'm going to read this in the NLT to make the point. So this is Habakkuk, the second chapter, and I'm going to start at verse 9 and read down. All right. We'll start at 7. All right. So this is Habakkuk 2 and 7 in the NLT. It says, suddenly your debtors will take action. They will turn on you and take all you have while you stand trembling and helpless. Verse 8, because you have plundered many, many nations, now all the survivors will plunder you. All right. And this is what's happening, as Job told us, that the earth shall rise up against them. Now they're standing up. They're calling them out.
Yep.
Okay. It says, you committed murder throughout the countryside. And this, like you were saying, Priest, this is what people all over the world are seeing on the internet, man. As that veil is being lifted off, all right, they're seeing the crimes, the atrocities, man, the murder, okay, the unjust bombings and whatnot, It says, you committed murder throughout the countryside and filled the towns with violence. What sorrow awaits you who build big houses with money gained dishonestly? You believe your wealth will buy security. See, and this is part of that. These websites, these different political groups that they're making in the name of anti, right? You believe your wealth will buy security, putting your family's nest beyond the reach of danger, right? Because it's a shameful thing to be an Edomite right now, especially a small hat. It says, verse 10, but by the murders you committed, you have shamed your name and fortified your lives. You see that? Hey, Esau has shamed his so-called legacy, man. Shameful spewing is on his glory. Have you not heard about the files and the shit that's written in them?
Oh man.
Hey, this is the people. Part of the noticing is that the world is being controlled by PDF files, man. Fucking Satanists.
Yep.
You see? So shame is on them. It says, verse 11, the very stones in the walls cry out against you. and the beams in the ceilings echo the complaint. And this is symbolic of the people, man. That great crying out. All right. Him being the noticing is we're talking about, right? It says, verse 12, what sorrow awaits you who build cities with money gained through murder and corruption, man? You got a priest if you want to add anything, you know?
Yeah, I got two.
Yep.
Because like you said, could you go back up 2 verses, I believe?
Yep.
Matter of fact, no, verse 10, you got it right here. It says, but by the murders you committed, you have shamed your name and forfeited your lives. Because, like you said, Esau is ashamed because their rulers are they have been exposed to be, you know, devil worshiping PDF files, man.
Facts.
And so you have the average everyday Edomites trying to distance themselves from the Amalekites. But what they fail to realize is that you are the same people. You are all Edomites, you know. And so that's why they're trying to draw that line of distinction to be like, well, we're not like them. We actually have quote unquote souls. We have a conscience. But y'all devils are the same way, because the only reason we see Esau, the regular Edomites, speaking out now is because now they are realizing that the small hats have fucked them out of their blessing too. You know, because if we were still in the Leave It to Beaver days, you know, early America times, these devils weren't worried about, you know, what was being done. All right. We understand that they were doing the same things that we see, you know, was being done in the Epstein files, man. Exactly. You know, Hollywood has revealed that, and history has revealed that, man. You know, but now that you're seeing you don't have the same benefits that you once did. Now you see that you're on the same plane or even lower than the niggas. Now you have something to complain about, man. So real quick, this is Sirach chapter 41 and verse 7. It says, the children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his sake, you know. And you know, this is originally referring to Jake, but we can apply this to Esau today, because what we're going to show you is that especially these Gen Z Edomites, they are crying out because they know that it's going to be a retribution that's going to come to all of their nation, you know. And so hearing the Hebrew Israelites, you know, pronouncing the judgment against the Edomites, that's putting these Edomites in fear, because they don't want to have to pay for the sins of their fathers, which they don't realize which was them in the reincarnation. But the fact remains the same, that they feel is unfair that they have to, you know, take part in this judgment that the Lord has prepared for them, man. So they're looking at Amalek and like, yo, these devils literally own everything. They're able to do whatever they want. And we don't feel like it's fair that we have to suffer the same judgment as them, because we're in the same position as the rest of y'all. When, like I said, in fact, if the tables weren't like they are now, if we were back in early America, you would not have shit to say about anything that's being done right now, man. You know,
that's right, brother.
And so the next precept is Isaiah 29 and 21. It says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Because this can you pull the other website you just had up, the dog whistle joint?
Yeah, I'll go back to it.
Because all this pretty much is showing you that Esau is preparing war against all those people that are speaking out against him, whether it's Jake, whether it's Esau, or whoever. They don't care. If you're against the small hats, then this applies to you, and they're showing you that they're about to come after you, man.
Oh yeah.
You know? So it's about to be a crime soon come to speak against what the Edomites are doing, what the small hats are doing, which is why, you know, videos that we've done prior showing that Trump is trying to make it, you know, persecutable by law, to where if you speak against the tiny tops, they want to put you to death. You know, they're going to lock you up and eventually kill you. So they're making a man an offender for a word, because the scriptures condemn Esau. So if you're reading the scriptures and you're speaking about Edom's judgment, eventually, all right, they're going to come after you, because Esau does not want to face the music that he's going down. All right, the how about Shemal Shah hates him, and that his kingdom is done, man.
That's it, man. He's perverted righteous judgment, man. You can't speak against wickedness, man. You know, and he's gonna pay for that. I got some real quick before we play on. Isaiah 13 and 2. It says, lift your banner upon the high mountain. All right, and the banner is this truth, the word. Lift your banner upon the high mountain. exalt the voice unto them, shake their hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles, man, the nobility of this world, all right? Which goes back to who? The small hat, all right? And this word is going up, okay? And now they're bringing forth action, all right? They're making laws and decrees to stop what they deem as hate for revealing them, you know? And what's crazy, and I didn't even think about it like this. Edomite I was watching online, he was saying that, you know, they're pushing all this anti, you know what, but the main problems behind the anti, you know what, is the people who's pushing it, you know? So I was like, damn, you know, that's a good point. You know, they're the ones that's they're the ones that are doing all this crime and this madness, but at the same trying to, you know, to play that victim role, man, with that anti-SIM card, you know.
And hey, I got that. What I was bring out about that word from that dude, Moritz Steinschneider.
Yep.
Said he invented the term anti-Shemite in 1860. The term is used to silence those that dare to expose Jewish crime.
There you go. It's over, man. All right, let's go into the video. Now check this out. This guy, the Amalekite with the Patriots, Robert Kraft. All right, he made a so-called small hat hate tracker. All right, check this out. Hold on. Can you hear that out?
I don't hear anything.
All right, hold on. It took my sound off. Hold on. Bear with me. I'll play it back through again.
Okay.
Let me just put it back up. When I click on and out, it sometimes it'll take the audio. So let me share it again. All right, bear with me 1 second.
I can read this while you getting that, because what we're about to show you is, like I said, the damage control that's being done. So, like you said, Robert Kraft had created this this small hat tracker. So showing you that all this is for the protection of the small hats. So it says Kraft has spent more than $100 million funding pro-Israel organizations, including the Foundation to Combat Anti-Sem, American Friends of Israel Museum, American Friends of Yitzhak Rabin Center, the ADL, the Committee for Accuracy in Middle East Reporting and Analysis, the Jewish Agency for Israel, the Jewish National Fund, Stand With Us, and Israel Project. So he's one of many that are putting these things in place to pretty much put the stop to people speaking out against what they're doing.
Right. Exactly. Here we go.
Patriot Stadium, a command center of stats, tracking hate speech online. It shows where it's coming from, the time of day, and how it's trending, especially among younger people.
We saw that not only is hate and anti-Semitism growing across the country, it's disproportionately grown on college campuses and in high schools.
Which is part of the reason Kraft says he partnered with the United Negro College Fund and the Jewish organization Hillel International to host unity dinners throughout the country.
So let's get to it.
Baruch College students Aiden Herzlinger and Akish L. are among the more than 450 students who've attended at least one of the dinners.
What do you talk about at these dinners?
The dinners are about finding commonalities between the Black community and the Jewish community. So we really talk about anything and everything. It's not just about politics and opinions. It's about treating each other as humans.
We mainly talked about our families, why we have communities, and how our communities are similar more than different.
Yeah, straight up confusion. You see? And this is what they do. They try to bring that whole unity madness in to try to take the heat off of them, man. All right? Showing you these are all the desperate attempts that this man is trying to do to take the scope off of him, man.
Exactly.
Why Jewish students with Black students?
Because historically we had that connection. It's a connection that's gotten a lot done. And I think we can continue to get a lot done if we come together.
And when you heard those students talk about the history of Blacks and Jews working together, consider this. In June of 1964, 3 college students fighting for civil rights in Mississippi were murdered by the Ku Klux Klan with law enforcement. Those activists were James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner. Chaney, a Black man, Goodman and Schwerner, Jewish. Right now, we know those bonds have been challenged by a war in which more than 1,200 people have been killed in Israel and over 70,000 in Gaza. But you guys, overwhelmingly, his message he's saying is we shouldn't tolerate it for anyone. You know, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Black, whether you're Latino, whether you're Asian, it shouldn't matter. People should be standing up to ignorance and hate.
Right. And I love that he's using the Super Bowl, which is one of the biggest platforms in the world, to share that message.
Yeah, millions of people watch.
The FBI has, as we all know, reported that anti-Semitism right now is one of the greatest threats in our country and our democracy at this very moment.
Corny.
There you go. You got a priest you want to add in there, you know. But it's crazy how they you know, they use Jake, you know, to cover the news segment, man. who are actually the true Israelites, you know. So it's just nothing but mind fuckery, bro. You know.
That's that Hosea 4:6, man. Our people perish for lack of knowledge, man. Because if you really understood the relationship between the small hats and our people, you would know that it's a hatred that they have for us just because, like you said, we are the true children of Israel. All right. If you knew that they actually funded the transatlantic slave trade, you know, then you will understand that where all this, you know, is going to, man. They hate you. They hate you niggas, but you niggas are so easy to pacify. All they gotta do is throw these stupid ass little commercials up like we've been seeing the last couple years. And Jake, no, they ain't that bad. Right. It's a whole time. This whole system was created to destroy you. And who's running it? The tiny tots, man.
Exactly. And they got Jake so programmed and conditioned that our people don't understand that they have an ancient common enemy, man. You know, this hatred that this man has for Jacob goes back to from the beginning, right? This is Ezekiel 35:5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. All right, this hatred is ancient, man. All right, it's an everlasting hatred that these Edomites have for Jake, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord power, Yahweh Shem Shai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. So thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right. So now it's his turn. All right, to catch all hell. All right, to be taken down, to go into captivity, man. You know, this is the time of his fall. Right. You got it, priest. You know, I got those videos too.
I wanted to add to you real quick so that we can just have the context of where that perpetual hatred came from. Yeah, right. It is a psyop. This is Genesis 27:41. It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing. All right. So this is why, all right, there will never be unity between the so-called white man and the so-called Black, Latino, Native Americans, because Esau hates us because of the blessing that we inherited from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We are the true chosen people of Israel. All right. That covenant that Yahweh Shem Yahushua made with us is the reason why the Edomites, they hate us and are trying to destroy us off the earth.
That's right.
It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And Esau never let that hatred go. All right. So everything that we have been seeing, this is why you have to know your history. You have to know that Esau has been trying to destroy us really from the beginning. All right. Who was the first nation that attacked us coming out of Egypt? It was the Amalekites, man. The tiny tops. All right. When we were in the wilderness, they attacked the rear of our camp. All right, killing the women, children, and the elderly. You know, and ever since, you know, this chapter we just read, Esau has been trying to do that. You know, and we're in a time now to where they feel like this is prime opportunity. All right, if they can chip all of Israel, all right, if they can, you know, get rid of the elect, then they can receive that birthright back, because this is what all it's about, is them getting their birthright back, because they feel like they were cheated out of the opportunity to have that birthright when it was a lawful agreement that was made between Esau and Jacob. Yeah, I'll show you. You lagging a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, your voice is a little behind though.
All right. How about now?
Still lagging.
Damn. Too much heat coming out.
All right, it's good now. It just fixed it.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's too much heat coming out. It always do that, man. All right. I was just adding on because you was going in the spirit, man. I was just wanted to add on to what you were saying about the birthright. If I can pull it up, and then we'll go to the videos. I don't want to hold up too much time. All right, let's see. Let's see if it'll share. All right, because this is a heavy point that always must needs be brought out.
Yep.
Right. Let me see if I go to it. About the how they know that they're the house of Edom. You know, if I can find it real quick.
Hit the Command F and just type in the house of Esau or whatever.
Okay, let me see. Like I was close. How you do it again, huh?
Command F.
Okay. It's probably not gonna let me do it. Oh, there you go. All right, let me see. Why is this not popping up? Oh, it's one of them pages where you gotta like unlock and all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we brought this out before. They know that they come from the house of Edom, and they know that we're the real house of Jacob. All right. So anyway, we'll move on. All right. Okay, you want to pull it up on your end?
Yeah. 1 second.
Bear with us, you know. We like to bring these facts out, man. Okay, the water.
Mm-hmm. Because like you said, you know, this is something that we constantly got to bring out because, you know, unbeknownst to the regular public, you know, these devils, they understand, you know, the prophecy. They understand who they go back to just as well as they know who we are. All right, the top, you know, wicked elite. All right, this is between them and the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, so to the average, everyday, you know, Israelite, Edomite, heathen, you know, they don't concern themselves with these matters. But this is a heavy point, all right, that must needs continually be brought out because this is why you see everything going the way it is. You know, it's a highly spiritual war for the birthright.
Here we go. Found it. All right. Again, from that same interview. All right, the same this book here, this interview here, the master plan of the Illuminated Rothschilds, right here. Same article. Can you be more specific as to the role that the Rothschilds play in all of this? Right, going straight to the point. Second paragraph here. It says, let me give you some background information. On one level, the Rothschilds secretly called themselves the House of David from the tribe of Judah. Now Rothschild, translated from German to English, means red shield. During biblical times, the Edomites' fortress was the red rocks of Petra. Esau, the twin brother of Jacob, was described as red and hairy. So this information fits perfectly with what survivors have been telling me. That on a deeper level, the Rothschilds are also claiming to be the descendants of Esau and thus are really from the house of Esau or tribe of Esau, right? What are they trying to do is to get the birthright back from the house of Jacob, who are the real Jews. See? And I just want to bring that out. We always got to bring that out. So they know, just like how they know, we know.
Right.
You know?
Because the main thing of why we're going into all this, because the great noticing or the noticing, whatever you want to call it, all points really to this. When you go to down the rabbit hole, this is the genesis of what the people do not want to know. So what they don't want the people to know is that they are the Edomites that the Bible speaks of, which means that the great judgments that await the house of Esau, like it tells you in the Zondervan, how Esau is the only nation that the Most High didn't promise mercy to. All right, they know that that's their judgment, and so now with the prophets coming on the scene and pronouncing that judgment through the scriptures, all of these Edomites, they're in fear of this. All right. And then at the same time, it's anger that the average Edomite has against Amalek, because they figuring out that they've been held out their blessing. You know, here it is. This is their kingdom, and they're in slavery along with the so-called slaves, man. You know, and I wanted to get a quick precept just to add to that point I just said, because Esau, all right, he had 5 sons, all right, and Amalek, he wasn't, you know, the firstborn, all right, he was born from a concubine, all right. So real quick, this is Genesis 36:12. It says, and Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adu, Esau's wife. So Amalek was the seed of a concubine, which means that he didn't have, you know, legitimate claims to the birthright, man. All right, because as the son, as the child of a concubine is pretty much like a lesser wife, so they don't receive the same benefits that, you know, the true heirs, you know, they receive. So the fact that he hijacked the blessing from his own people, all right, that's something where you have the average Edomite, they're you know, slowly becoming aware of, and that's why they're even against each other. Okay, and this shows you why Esau's kingdom is falling, because grabbing this is Matthew chapter 12 and verse 26. It says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And this is why at the end of the day, we are witnessing Babylon the Great fall, because these devils are divided against themselves from the very top, from the ruling elite down to the average Edomite. They're all against each other, man.
Shit.
You're not going to silence my ass by invoking the Holocaust or calling me an anti-Semite. I don't give a shit. Okay, I see what's happening clearly. I'm going to speak up about it, and no one's going to shut me up. See what's going on. The entire international community sees what's happening. The Israeli government wants to genocide and ethnically cleanse Palestinians, not just from Gaza, but the West Bank too.
The world is noticing, bro. All the times people are called anti-Semitic when they speak up about the injustices that are happening in Palestine, that are currently happening in Gaza. Like, this isn't something that people can just sweep under the rug and just start accusing others of, oh, you're being anti-Semitic, when we're literally just saying, yo, you guys are bombing kids, hospitals, and schools. Like, you're bombing random families of fucking 10 and 15, and like 7 to 8 of them are kids and women. Like, what are we doing? While also not letting them get food and water. Like, you think the world is just fucking blind? You can just be like, oh, you're anti-Semitic. What about the Holocaust? Yeah, but what about right now? We're looking at this right now. People are tired, bro.
Man, you got a priest.
God, you know, you just keep hitting the videos, because everybody's beginning to speak out against this devil, man.
That's it. Keep hitting them.
Why is there this societal taboo around criticisms of Israel? AIPAC doesn't have to register as a foreign lobby, but like the Australia lobby does.
A lot of young American and conservatives are starting to notice that Israel has an overwhelming lobby over the United States government, and we have unconditionally supported them. We have fought their wars in the Middle East. Bibi Netanyahu came to our Congress in the 90s, told us a list of countries that we need to take out. Some were Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, etc. Through those wars, we have lost trillions of dollars. We have lost American servicemen.
And they will Israel
first. No one's clapping. No one's clapping for
Israel first. It's easy question.
Charlie was starting to notice about the Israel lobby.
83% of the people Israel has killed in Palestine are citizens, not.
The Epstein files should be released, and why do you think they haven't been released yet?
Do people like Bill Ackman, Robert Shillman, or AIPAC, are they influencing American politicians? Are they influencing popular YouTubers? Are they influencing people like Fox News? And God forbid, are they influencing our president?
How does anybody possibly expect us to have any trust in our government, pay taxes, accept draft orders if these elites are not held accountable? America first means America first, not foreign governments, not rich pedophiles. Why can I burn an American flag in my country, but I get a mark by my name if I burn Israel's? Like, how?
Yeah, so seeing this, now you should understand that the internet ain't got long, man. It's about to be a famine of the word. It's just over, man. You know?
Ms. Trump. I'd like to ask about your father's relationship with Israel. He's taken over $230 million from pro-Israel groups. During the summer against Iran, even though he advised against it, Israel still attacked Iran and the U.S. still bombed on behalf of Israel. Your father's frustrations with Netanyahu have been made clear when he cursed on national TV over the situation. Israel has not been a great ally to the U.S. all the way since 1960 when they bombed the USS Liberty. Israel is a nation where Christians are constantly under attack in both Gaza and the West Bank. We talk about America first and defending Christians, but how can we do this if we align ourselves with a nation that does not do that itself?
There's no question my father's had frustration. In fact, I think he's had frustration throughout the whole conflict with both.
Yeah, it's getting to the point to where people, they pissed, man, you know, because everybody is seeing that Trump doesn't pull no strings, man. You know, everything is revolving around Israel's interests. All right. Trump is pretty much, Benjamin, not a Jews, little bitch. And they're seeing that the escalation that's going on as far as over there with Iran, none of that is going to benefit the Americans in the long run. And that's why they're beginning to speak out and question, because they see that this is all what Israel wants, not what America wants. Trump got in office with all these great promises to, put America back first, to pretty much make it to where the Edomite will be back on top. And they're in a worse situation than they were, when Biden was in office, man. So now, like I said, it's all coming to light, which is why, like you said, Esau about to, he about to regulate this internet, man.
Yeah, it's over, man. You can see that, man. When you see these Edomites coming out and all this stuff trending online, and then the website that we showed you, and this is one website of many.
Yeah.
All right. We're telling you, Jakes out there, that there's not a lot of time left. Understand that. All right.
N0TICING's accelerating, and Bibi Netanyahu and our entire AIPAC-owned government, they are not happy about it. They said, stop noticing things and being anti-Semitic. While we were all watching the Charlie Kirk Memorial, our greatest ally killed an entire family of Americans in Lebanon. Yeah, 3 small kids, whole family, killed them all. What they have to say about it? They were like, Hamas, and something about anti-Semitism and blah, blah, blah. They don't give a flying fuck. You know who else is noticing shit? China. China signed an aggression pact with Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and said if either one of them are met with any aggression from Israel, China's stepping in and they ain't gonna pull no punches. The whole world structure and the control that our greatest ally has exerted over the entire world is crumbling before our eyes. And I heard a guy explain it earlier, because it makes no sense, right? Like, Israel's on the fucking warpath, blowing up everybody, killing people all over the place. And he explained it as more people figure out what's going on, they realize that their time is numbered. And so they are trying to do as much damage and grab as much land as possible before the hammer falls, because it's coming. It's coming. Everybody knows it now, and nobody. Here's the game plan, America. Anybody who goes and touches the wall, you don't vote for those people because they ain't for America. They're not. They don't give a fuck about America. They've been bought and paid for, blackmailed, and whatever by our greatest ally, and that's where they're going to send all your money. They don't give a fuck about the homeless, the vets. They don't give a fuck about any Americans. All they care about is that fucking Jew gold. Gotta get that Jew gold. Everybody's so mad at Tucker because Tucker went out there and told everybody, like, common knowledge, that the Jews killed Jesus, and they're like, Tucker's anti-Semitic and he's lying. And it's like, the Jews did kill Jesus. What? That's not even up for debate. Like, that's who Jesus was fucking pissed at, because they were all corrupt and they were charging people money to sacrifice animals at the temple, and they had this big scam going, and Jesus went in there and he kicked over the fucking money changers' tables and was like, Do not pay these corrupt pieces of shit any money to talk to my dad. That's what got Jesus killed. He touched their Jew money, and you can't do that. You can't do that, as Charlie found out, you know? We are in a new world here, people, and as the noticing continues, we might actually see some change. Good luck to y'all. Long live the Republic.
We're gonna see a change, and the change is going to be a total crackdown and elimination of all those that oppose Israel, man.
That's it, man. This is where we at. You know, you got anything you want to put up? Because I mean,
yeah, real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter.
The noticing is just overwhelming, man. It's like, what can we say again? Fair use. We're gonna keep claiming that fair use, man. All right. Right. For educational purposes, research. We just pointing out like everybody else, right? Which is soon to be a crime. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And a total exposure is coming out. All right, like we read earlier. Okay, because Esau Edom is showing you, well, Amalek is showing you that, hey, we're at the point where this new world order is going to happen, whether y'all want it or not. So all the things that we're seeing being done on the earth now is being done for that purpose alone. All right, and all those that don't agree, you're going to be deleted. They're going to be moved out the way so that they can establish this, because they know that their time is running out. They know that the Israelites are waking up, that Yahweh Shah's on his way back. So they're gunning this, man. They're trying to hurry up and establish this before all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm. This is from the Elder Malcolm. Shalom.
Shalom.
He said the noticing is why Israel is burning up Argentina. They're looking for a second home away from Western Asia, which is true. Right? Mm-hmm. They're occupying that land heavily right now. It says the sellout president of Argentina signed legislation that allows the land to be bought after it's burned down. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to make it into a smart city. It's like the elder said, they're gonna hide themselves over there, but that's not gonna help you.
Yeah.
What's that? Jeremiah 16:16. Hey, when we get that power, we coming right over here to get you. So it's not gonna change nothing, man. Yep. All right, you done.
Finished. And they're trying to set up shop to survive nuclear war. You know, that's where they're gonna be at, bunkers down there, different parts of the earth. Like we always talk about these tiny tops, these elites. They got different remote retreats in different parts of the earth that's going to not be affected by the nuclear destruction, all right? Because those are going to be the survivors that the elect are going to get once they come down, with the new bodies to take over the planet, So they're going to be pulled out of them bunkers. They're going to be found out, They can't hide,
All right. Did you jump down to verse 20?
Yep. Jeremiah 49 and 20, it says, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Washad, that he have taken against Edom and his purposes, that he have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock should draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you heard the dude say in the last video, because the other nations are beginning to realize that as well. This is why everybody is, positioning their military to eventually shoot nukes over here to America and the land of Israel, because they're noticing they got to get the small hat out of the power seat, man. God. They're the problem in the earth, man. They're the reason why all hell is breaking loose in the world, because they're the wicked. They're the sons of the wicked, man. So the spirit of the Lord is moving all the chess pieces on the board to pretty much checkmate the small hats, man, because that prophecy that not a Jew tried to put upon the Palestinians is coming back on him. You can't get away from that, man. All right. This is Genesis 36 and verse 12. It's like not that one. Exodus 17 and 16. For he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. All right. And so that hatred that the Lord has for you small hats, all right, is going to be personified upon all the other nations when World War III truly pops off, man. Yep. So like the elder had pointed out, they're trying to, make moves behind the scene to have a safe haven to run to when all the destruction takes place, man.
That's it, man. Ezekiel 38. You know, everything is being concentrated into the valley of Yehoshaphat. All right, that's where it's all getting ready to go down. This is why America has ships already in the going into the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, and shit like that. All right, these different military forces are coming together, as the Lord said in Zephaniah. Was it 3 and 9, 3 and 8? He said, my determination is to gather the nations that he's going to judge them. All right. So this is where we are in prophecy. We're in the beginning stages of Armageddon, nuclear war. All right. And right now, before it all goes down, the least of the flock should draw them out. All right. America's being pulled into this region, into this nuclear war. All right. You got the different alliances that are being made between these African nations and Russia and Iran, China, to come against who? The tiny tops in America, the Western power structure, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So again, what a beautiful time to be alive to see this thing happen and come together, you know.
Right.
And
the last thing we wanted to point out was that last video, because, like I said, you got the average Edomite beginning to realize on how these small hats have fucked them over. All right, they're that one of the things that the Epstein files, exposed, that these small hats do not give a fuck about their own people as well, man.
Con, I'll pull it up.
It is a
right?
supremacist religion in that way. I mean, They refer to themselves as chosen people. And, Zionism is really about racializing Judaism. So, yeah, I mean, that is a particularly malignant strain of what we're talking about. But no, it's absolutely an arrogant religion.
We have special guests with us. Keaton Weiss from the Due Dissonance is here. You know him, you love him. He's our favorite guest host. Hi, Keaton, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing? Good to see you.
Keaton, hello.
Hello.
So I wanted to bring on a Jew.
Yes.
Because of what I found we all found in the files.
Jew? You wanted to bring in the Jew?
I wanted to bring in
the files.
Yes. You need the right Jew for this. I am the Jesse Lee Peterson of.
Hold on. All right, let me let this catch up. Hold on. We almost done too. All right. I'm just trying to make sure I got no other programs running that might overheat the computer. Hold on. Bear with us. All right, we should be good after that. Let's close that. All right, let's try it again.
Of Jews.
What is? Can you tell me what is a woman? All right, here we go.
So you love God?
Do you love God?
You love God?
Do you love him? Do you love God? I love how he just keeps asking the same question over and over.
Yeah, he's great. He's the best.
He's kind of Scientology's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is from Jeffrey Epstein to a guy named Roger Schenck. And he says, Jeffrey Epstein says this is the way the Jew make money, and made a fortune in the past 10 years, selling short the shipping futures. Let the Goyim deal in the real world. From shipping news, the most dramatic growth has been in shipping futures, which allows shipping companies to lay off risks. The most popular futures are forward freight agreements to deliver goods, in particular the route, some of the blah, blah, blah. They have grown in the past year to roughly the size of a physical market, according to Bill Lyons of the Baltic Exchange and Shipping in London. Many of the industry have been suspicious of such futures because they've been averse to hedging their bets. Risk-taking is, after all, part of the game, and averse to complicated financial instruments that they do not really understand. So and then Goyim were born only to serve us. Without that, they have no place in the world, only to serve the people of Israel.
Who wrote that? Ted Cruz?
That's so far. That is Sephardic leader Rabbi Ovdia Yosef, spiritual leader of the Shas party, said that in 2010. So here's a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the same devil that said that the so-called Jewish community was Amalek. All right, which I have pointed out in the lesson that I did about 2 weeks ago. Right, check that out if you haven't checked it out. This lesson entitled "The Topic Amalek Points Back to Them." Matter of fact, let me just read it real fast. All right, because they tried to bury this website. I found it, right? Okay, but here's the website here. It says Yosef aims to clarify Shah's Rabbi Amalek remark. All right, and this is what he said right here. Let me move on a little bit. He said it right here. Bear with me. You know what? Let me go through it. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. So it says the Shai's rabbi who called modern Orthodox community Amalek was referring only to politicians who represent that community, said the party's spiritual leader, Rabbi Ovidia Yosef. You see that? So he said he was saying, as long as there's a knit kippot, all right, there will always be Amalek, basically. All right. The throne of the Most High can't return until that knit kippot is out of the way. This is what he said. And they tried to clean it up. So they know who they are, man. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go back. Let's read anything, priest.
Lie.
I mean, it's nice to have a purpose in life, but you know, and me being Goyim, my purpose in life is to do all the hard work while another group reaps all the benefits. Isn't that something? So
Are you
here,
talking about in the bedroom with my Jewish ex, where I did all the work like a goy.
Like a goy.
So this is from the Jewish Telegraphic Agency.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. He brought it out. That's heavy. Here we go.
Was in 19 Sephardic leader Yosef. Non-Jews exist to serve Jews. So there it is. Goyim were born only to serve.
All right, so this is a different one, but it's the same site.
Us, without that, they have no place in the world, only to serve the people of Israel, he said during a public discussion of what kind of work non-Jews are allowed to perform on Shabbat. Why are Gentiles needed? They will work, they will plow, they will reap. We will sit like an effendi and eat, he said to some laughter. Yosef, the spiritual leader of the Shas party and the former chief Sephardic rabbi of Israel, also said that the lives of non-Jews are protected in order to prevent financial loss to Jews.
And remind you, as we just brought out, hey, this is the same spiritual leader for the Jewish community that said they were Amalek.
So just showing you that divide amongst the Edomites, because even amongst the so-called Jewish community, they're not in agreement with what the quote unquote Zionists are doing. All right, they actually want them, to be brought to justice. That's why you had, not a Jew, pretty much. They had that protest demanding that he step down because they see that he's not in the benefit of them.
Right.
Which, we've always, put that caveat out there that it is Israelites, that is amongst those Jewish communities as well, the Amalekites, that they may look like the small hat, but a lot of them go back to Jake.
Jake is scattered.
Yep.
All right. I'll play some more. And let me know when you want me to stop too.
That was pretty much, it, because he don't really, go into anything else besides what we just brought up. So just showing that point of the average Edomite is realizing where they stand in the eyes of their leaders. All right, which is why I brought out earlier, all right, how the children shall complain about an ungodly father, because now that they see that their own leaders don't even care about them, they don't feel like it's fair for them to have to take part in the same judgment that they have to.
Right. There you go. So yeah, that's all I had, man. As you can see, it's a wrap, man. All right. I don't know what else to tell you. Hey, again, fair use, fair use. All right. So we understand how sensitive these times that we live in. All right. As we brought out earlier in this lesson about the dog whistle, the coded language. Esau's watching. He's paying attention to the conversations in the chat rooms, on the comment boards, what people are posting, the memes that are circulating online, everything, man. All right. Anything that has anything to do with them being exposed, being called out, the crimes that they're doing. All right. You know, these niggas with the underground cities and tunnels popping out of sewers, the trafficking of kids, the A to the chrome, all right, the blood, the drinking of blood, all this shit, man. All right, the cannibalism, you know, so the exposure is so major. That's how you know that, hey, we're almost done, man. The famine of the word is right around the corner. All right, heavy persecution against the believers in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, all these various things, man. You know.
Yep.
So, any last words, priest?
Hey, that shows you, hey, we at the last stretch of this thing, man. All right, the Lord has exposed Esau, and so now we're at the point where he's about to make his move, and the Lord's going to vilify his he's going to justify the elect. So everything that we're doing as far as these videos, all right, it's not going to be done in vain, man. Hey, he's going to provide that covering for us, Lord willing, we endure to the end.
That's right, brother. Beautiful. Hey, well, we pray that this live lesson was edifying, that was trended online, the great noticing that he might be revealed in this time. And the time is now where this man is being totally exposed. It's over. All right.
Yep.
So pray that you were edified. Pray we weren't all over the place, but nevertheless, you get the point. All right. So we'll close out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who taught us his truth, and shalom to the hopeful elect.
Shalom.
Yeah, that's heavy, brother. Appreciate it. Let me.
Fire.
Yes.